Hello.
Hello.
Evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
Good evening po, ma'am.
Hello, hello.
Malilate daw po si Amiel.
Okay.
Should we stick to good morning, ma'am? Because I remember Ma'am Rose is greeting us good morning.
Yes, every time you need to practice actually greeting in good morning, because if you are talking to American clients, it's in the morning in America right now. Okay,
Okay, ma'am, noted.
thanks. Charles, how about Lucas? Will Lucas attend?
Ay, tanong ko po. Wait lang po.
Let's just give them a couple of minutes before we start. Anyway, we'll be discussing, we'll just continue with the customer service skills. I do apologize for what happened yesterday. We had a power outage here in our area due to the rains. Um, the rain and there's thunder and lightning yesterday. I believe one Meralco post was or got hit. That's why we had a power outage. It lasted actually for 6 hours. So I apologize for that. That's why we're just going to continue today. And I believe that Rose gave you an activity that you need to do. So I hope you were able to do that yesterday. So right now, we will just continue with what we we were discussing last week. So last week, what we have discussed is regarding your voice projection, part of the customer service skills. So voice attributes of a good speaker is what we discussed last week. Voice projection, speech rate, and pitch. All right, so right now we will continue with phone courtesies, some guidelines regarding that. Let's just give, maybe we can start around 7:05 or 7:06. Let's just give them time to log in. All right.
Ma'am, I'm sorry, I did not. I think I'm not aware with the activity that was provided yesterday.
You might want to ask Marose regarding that. I'm not sure if she was able to provide the script that you would need to practice. Um, just ask Marose regarding it. You may go ahead and message her and ask her about it. Okay.
Uh,
Ma'am, I received the email from Maros actually last night, I think so. Yeah, 12 a.m. I
Mm-hmm.
received the script. I thought it was not sent by ma'am because I checked my spam folders, then yeah, it was
Oh,
there.
okay. All right. You may go ahead and do that later on, or if you have time to practice that. Okay.
yeah, and now I see it. It's in my spam.
Okay. All right. So Lucas and Emil is already here. Good morning to all of you. So we can actually start. We can now continue with our discussion regarding customer service skills. All right. So, like what I said earlier, what we have discussed last week was regarding your voice projection. So, right now, we will continue with other parts of the customer service skills. Right. Let me just share my screen. Again, I apologize for what happened yesterday. Um, because of the um I don't know if there is a storm, but because of the rain that happened yesterday, so a Morocco post was hit in our area. That's why we had a power outage. It lasted for about 6 hours, so it's really hard because I have a kid. I have a 6-year-old kid with me, and it's hard because if he needs to sleep, he really cannot sleep because it's hot, even though it's raining. You know how kids are. They like to have the fan or the AC on, so there. Um, let me go ahead and share my screen. Just give me a second. Okay. Charles, can you tell Marose that she needs to make me host? I cannot share my screen.
Sure, ma'am.
Thanks. All right. Thank you. Okay, so this is where we ended last week, phone courtesies. Okay, so like what I stated here, you always make the caller feel welcome to your call. Okay, you always make sure that you are you sound like you sound that you are willing to help them. Okay, every time that you are talking, you need to sound enthusiastic. You need to show enthusiasm each time you answer the call. Use friendly phrases as part of your greeting. Okay, and remember to smile as you take the call. So those are the basics uh, when you start to take those calls or to make those calls for your clients. All right. Okay. Next is we need to also know how do we open the call. If in case you are taking inbound calls, you need to know how to make that opening spiel or opening the call. Answer the phone professionally using the four courtesies. Okay, greet the caller. Of course, you have to greet the caller. Good morning. All right. State your organization, introduce yourself, and of course, offer your help. All right. So this is the basic. Again, it depends on the script that will be provided to you, but you make it personal when you are given those script. Okay. So these are just the basics that we have for inbound calls. Right. So this is a sample. Okay. Thank you for calling and state your organization. This is Lynette. May I know or may I have your name, please? How may I assist you today? Okay. Or when they say, oh, my name is Claire, you just respond, oh, hi, Claire. How may I assist you today? Okay. So if you have an account number that is part of your script, or you need to verify something, then you go ahead and get those information. And of course, every time that, not really every time, but once they have provided those information, you may go ahead and thank them. Thank you for all of the information. Now, how may I help you today? Or how may I assist you? Okay, so that's how you do it. Again, you thank them for calling, state your organization. Of course, inform them what your name is. Okay, then ask their name. You may respond once they stated their name. You may respond, "Thank you, Claire," or you make sure that you utter or you also say their name. Okay, this is so that you don't forget. Okay, that's one of the things that's one of the advice they give is you always have to say their name when they introduce themselves so that you don't forget it, especially throughout the call. Because if, for example, you've been taking calls for a long time, let's say you've been taking calls for 6 hours already, and sometimes the names got jumbled in your mind. What you want to do is just get the call over with. So what happens sometimes is you provide or you call them using a different name, probably the name of the previous caller. That's why every time that they provide you their name, you go ahead and say it so that you remember it throughout the call. So if, for example, they stated, "My name is Claire," and then you say, "Hi, Claire, how are you doing today? How may I assist you?" Okay, because that way as well, you sound you sound friendly. Okay, you sound that you are willing to help. Okay, so that's how you do it. Next is we will talk about placing a call on hold. Okay, we don't just put a caller on hold, just placing them on hold without any information stated to them. So of course you need to ask permission before you place them on hold. Okay, make sure that how you ask permission is the correct way. Okay, because sometimes, uh, it's probably you don't know what you're going to do. That's why you utter something else. Okay, later on, I'll give you an example for that. Next, of course, give them a time frame. How long are you going to place them on hold? Now, that is a common courtesy. You don't tell them, may I place this hold, or may I place this call on hold a moment? A moment, a moment can be a minute, a moment can be a lifetime. So don't say a moment. You give them an exact time. Okay, may I place this call on hold for 2 minutes? Okay, that's the practice that we have. The standard hold time should be 2 minutes only. After that 2 minutes, you have to get back. If you need more time, go ahead and inform them. Okay, of course, explain the reason of the hold. Okay, explain to them why you are placing them on hold. If the caller agrees, thank him, her, hence acknowledge and explain that you will quietly work on something. If in case they don't want you, or they don't want them to be placed on hold, because sometimes callers would tell you, no, I don't want to be placed on hold. This is because the last person who placed me on hold never got back to me. Okay, so if that is the scenario, go ahead and inform them that, or explain to them, all right, Claire, I will not place the call on hold, but I will work on um, your needed information quietly. Would that be okay? Right? So as we all know, a lengthy hold is not pleasant. If you need more time, again, return to the line. Okay, again, how do you do this? Okay, hello, Claire. I would like to, once they've already provided information. Hi, Claire. I would need to place you on hold. Give me 2 minutes. I would need to research on the information that you are asking for. Okay, if the caller agrees, then go ahead. Thank you, Claire. I'll be back. I'll be back shortly. Okay, and then if you need more time, hi, Claire. I am still researching the information. Would you mind if I place the call on hold again? I apologize. Okay, so that's how you do it. Make sure that you are always courteous when you are, asking permission when you are doing something. Okay, when you are doing something, you don't just state to them that I need to research this. Hold on, and then place them on hold. No, that's not the proper way. Definitely, you don't do that. That's a no-no, right? Or you just state, I need to place a call on hold for 2 minutes. Okay, again, you need to sound professional. You need to sound courteous. Okay. Um, so when you place them on hold, again, you ask permission, give them the time frame. Okay. You say, would it be okay? Okay, you ask them. Now, if they state that no, it's not okay, all right. So again, you may inform them that you will work quietly, or from time to time, you can inform them what you're doing. Okay, I'm still researching right now. Or if you know how to do it, you can multitask. You can go ahead and talk to them while you're working on it. How do you talk to them? Build rapport. Okay, so how are you? How's your day doing so far, Claire? Okay, you may go ahead and ask them that. So make sure that if you ask those questions, you also respond appropriately, because sometimes, because it's part of your script, it's part of your script that you make, or you build rapport, or you talk to your caller, you don't know how to respond appropriately as well. I've experienced that before when I was an agent. It's because it's part of, it's part of being an agent, to especially if you're already old, or not really old, if you're already tenured in what you're doing. You don't place a caller on hold anymore, and sometimes you just do it while they're there on the line talking. Okay. Now, sometimes, of course, when building rapport, you ask them. Okay, you ask them. So, what are especially if it's let's say it's already a Thursday, you go ahead and inform them. One more day, and it's already Saturday. So, what are your plans, Claire, for the weekend? You sometimes you talk to them and you just ask them things. If they tell you things that they're going to do, go ahead and respond appropriately. Oh, that's nice to hear. Okay, if they ask you, so how about you, what are you going to do, make sure that you are going to respond appropriately as well. Make sure that you know how to respond to that too, because it's not just part of your script. Okay, you need to know how to respond to questions too from your caller. All right. So that's how you do it. Sometimes, of course, that takes practice because, of course, when we're doing something in the computer, especially if they're asking for information that you need to research on, sometimes we get lost and we don't know how to respond to what they're saying anymore. So make sure that you also know how to respond appropriately, of course. All right. I remember one time I was talking to an Indian caller. Okay, since of course they have scripts. Okay, they also have scripts, and because like what I said, I'm already tenured. Okay, so I was just playing around, and I know that they were not going to be able to respond. So what I did was, because I did not place the caller on hold anymore while I'm checking for the information that the caller is asking. I was asking the person. So um, usually the name that they give out is the usual names in the US: Peter, John, things like that. So I said, "Oh, so Peter, while I'm researching here, um, so what did you eat for lunch, or what did you eat for dinner, or what are you going to eat for dinner?" Something like that. uh, they're not responding. Okay, so I know that they don't know how to respond to those. So I asked them again because it's part of their script. When I provided the information, I already provided the information. The person asked, "I have another member that I would like you to check." All right, give me the member name. And since it's already a Friday, I asked him, "So, Peter, what are your plans for the weekend? What are you going to do?" You know what the Indian caller said? The Indian caller said, I'm not prepared. And I was like, what? What did you say? You're not prepared? And then the call went dead. Mean to say, he he um he put down the phone. I guess because he don't know how to respond to me. Okay, use things like that. So make sure that you also know how to appropriately answer the questions of your caller, because you don't want to get, off guard. Make sure that if they ask you something, you may go ahead and ask them again. If you were not able to catch it, or if you were not able to understand it, you go ahead and ask them. "I'm sorry, what was that? I'm sorry, I was not able to get your question. Can you repeat that?" Okay, so you go ahead and ask them. So that's how you actually build rapport, with your caller or with your client. All right. So again, make sure you ask permission, when placing a call on hold, give them the time frame, explain the reason of hold. If the caller agrees, go ahead and thank them. Okay. So again, we don't like lengthy holds, and it's not pleasant. So make sure that you go ahead and return to the line if you need more time. All right. So those are just the basics. Okay. Again, when you go back, of course, you tell them, "Thank the caller for staying on the line." Okay. "Thank you, Claire, for staying on the line. Hi, Claire, I'm back. I already have the information. Thank you." So there. So provide information that is directly, of course, related to the caller's needs. Avoid jargon. When you say jargon, those are words that are only known in your industry. Okay, for example, SOA. Okay, not all know what an SOA is. Statement of account. Okay, so if, for example, they're asking for something and you stated them that it's actually this is in your statement of account. you go ahead and inform them statement of account, not say this is in your SOA. Okay, because sometimes, of course, yes, for you, you sound like, um, you really know what you're doing. You sound intelligent. You sound smart if you say that. But of course, your callers don't understand those. So you have to avoid jargon. Okay, you have to avoid those things that only you in the industry know. Okay, so make sure that you, if you are providing information, give them the exact or words, or give them words that are understandable to them, language that are understandable to them. Sometimes you would hear your caller or client would say, can you speak in English? Even if you are speaking in English, sometimes it means that it's not really you, it's the jargon that you're using. That's an expression, that's an idiom that they have when they don't understand the English word that you're saying or the language that you're saying. They would tell you, can you speak in English? Mean to say, can you please avoid jargon? Because they don't know the word jargon too. Okay, sometimes they do, especially if you're talking to, regular clients, clients that are just a member of a society, especially if you're dealing with, credit cards. You're talking to, individuals that are not professional. Okay, sometimes they're, well, what I mean is like a regular, American that are not, those are not lawyers, doctors, or whoever, or businessmen. Okay, so make sure that you avoid those. When they say that, can you please speak in English? Okay, it doesn't mean that you don't know how to speak in English. It may probably mean that you are speaking in jargon. That's why they cannot understand you. So don't get offended. Okay, you actually be apologetic. Just tell them though, oh, I'm so sorry. What I'm trying to say is, it's actually in your statement of account. So for you to be able to know, let me go ahead and assist you reading through your statement of account. Do you have it with you? You can go ahead and explain like that, right? So those are just examples. Again, answer the caller's question with a direct and clear response. Okay, we've already discussed this. Keep it simple. Okay, so when you are explaining, avoid flowery words. Okay, make sure that when you respond to them, it's direct. Okay, tell the caller what happened, why it happened, and what to expect next. Okay, again, these are just, basic scenarios. Okay, I won't be able to know what scenarios you'll be dealing with. However, these are just basic scenarios that apply to all call centers. Okay, so again, uh, these are some of the basics, right? So again, tell the caller what happened, why it happened, and what to expect next. This is just the appropriate response to queries that they have. Okay, if they have questions regarding, let's say, their account, or they have questions regarding, what happened to this or that, so make sure that you have those. Tell them what happened. This is what happened. Okay, why it happened. This happened because, and what to expect next. Okay, this is what we're going to do. Meaning, you're going to give a resolution or probably give them advice. And next time around, this is what you're going to do so that this won't happen again. No things like that, right? Okay. The next one that we will talk about is regarding call transfers. Now, there are times or there are scenarios wherein you would need to transfer the call. I'm not sure if, what you're going to do, you would need to transfer calls. However, you know, these are again basic customer service skills. Call transfers, issues requiring the call to be transferred. Okay, you would need to explain to them why you would need the call to be transferred. You have to set expectations, especially if they would need to repeat whatever they said to you. Okay, then you of course transfer the call. Okay, kinds of transfers. There's cold transfer and what we call a warm transfer. A cold transfer is a phone call that comes in without any warning or explanation from the person who transferred the call. So this happens wherein, it was just transferred directly. So you guys will be able to, or sometimes it came from a different department, or sometimes you do that. It happens in two ways. If the call was a call transfer, it might be that the other caller, or the other caller, I'm sorry, the other person who transferred the call, probably in their area, it's a directive not to warm transfer. There is a directive that for now, for this hour, you cannot warm transfer any calls. Just go ahead and transfer the call without introduction, or just go ahead and cold transfer. When they say that, probably it's queuing in their department. That's why they cannot do a warm transfer. Okay, it's a directive. They need to lessen, the AHT that they have. Sometimes that happens too. No, AHT is average, handle time. So when you say average handle time, this is, how long the call is. You need to make it shorter. So there. So those are some scenarios wherein they do the cold transfer. Now, when you say warm transfer, okay, you inform the person calling that you are going to transfer their call and announce the call to the person on the receiving end. Meaning you would need to introduce them to the next person that you're, or the next department that you're transferring them to. Again, this is actually the professional way to do it, warm transferring the call. But again, sometimes it's a directive from your operations that you would need to cold transfer. Okay. When you do cold transfer to your, clients, make sure that you tell them that I'm going to transfer the call. You may need to repeat the information that you provided me earlier. Okay. So again, because at least you were able to give them an expectation on what's going to happen. Because if it's a warm transfer, the other person or your client don't have to repeat the information that was asked of them. Okay. Even the concern. Okay. The other person will just receive it and just tell them, even the name, you can already inform them. Okay. Example of doing a warm transfer is that, you tell them, let's say the other agent's name is Rose. Hi, Rose. I have Claire on the other line. I am transferring the call because the concern is under your department. Her concern is regarding billing. She is asking regarding a bill for this date of service. Okay, a bill for June 4th, a bill for June 4th, 2021. The amount is this amount. Okay, that's her concern. And go ahead and inform them. Of course, again, it's not just, being courteous with the clients. You also have to be courteous with the other departments that you are transferring the call to. You tell them that, go ahead, may I go ahead and transfer the call? Okay, and then you go ahead and transfer. Sometimes we do conference. Okay, when you conference, you introduce them. Hi, Claire, I have Rose, and she is going to help you. I've already provided the information that you have given me. Okay, you may go ahead, Rose, and talk to Claire. Things like that. You introduce them. Okay, so once they're already talking, you may go ahead and disconnect the call. That's how you do it. Okay, so again, you always need to be courteous. Okay, you always have to remember that the clients are calling or your customers are calling because they're doing business with the company that you're working for. So the company that you are working for, that's what you represent. You do not represent yourself. Okay, you represent the company that you're working for. So that's why you need to be courteous all the time. You need to be nice all the time. All right. So that's how you do it. Even if, for example, they are, um, the call didn't went too well, meaning the caller was irate. Okay, you are representing the company, so never fight back. If they are, being mean to you, don't be or don't reciprocate the feeling. Make sure that you or you inform them, um, especially if they're saying profanity. Okay, you may go ahead and tell them if you continue with that tone. Okay, again, your tone should still be nice. If you continue with that tone, I will be forced to release this call. Okay. Don't get affected on how they are in the call. Okay. So there. Okay. So that's how you do your call transfer. You have two types. You have your cold transfer and you have your warm transfer. Again, it is, it is really part that you have to be nice. You have to have a really long, you need to have a long patience if you are working in this industry, especially if they cannot understand what you're trying to say. Okay. Okay, concluding the conversation. This is just an additional. Do not miss to offer further assistance, meaning go an extra mile. Thank the caller. Let the caller know that you appreciate their business. Provide assurance that any promises will be fulfilled. Leave the caller with a positive feeling. Okay, note, always let the customer hang up first. This is simple courtesy. Plus, it gives the caller a final chance to add something. Okay, again, you offer assistance. Okay, is there anything else that I can help you today? Okay, again, thank you for calling us. It's a pleasure doing business with you, or thank you for calling us. Hope to hear from you again. Okay, provide assurance that any promises will be fulfilled. Okay, you may go ahead and tell them that the issue that you inquired about will be worked on. Okay, I guarantee that the issue that you have raised will be investigated or worked on. Okay, leave the caller again with a positive feeling. Okay, so there. Again, these are just common courtesies. All right. Okay, examples again. Is there anything else I may help you with? It's a pleasure assisting you. I hope I was able to provide you a delightful customer service. Or you can just say, I hope I was able to provide you a good assistance. Okay, we appreciate your partnership with us. Okay, so that's just, concluding, just some examples. All right. So again, these customer service skills are just, basic. All companies would have their own, like your opening spiel or scripts that you would need to follow. But just make sure that you make it personal, meaning you add a touch of personalization there, especially if it's a script that is provided to you. Your tone of voice should be pleasant. Don't be monotonous. Okay, we've practiced this already. So, when you respond to your caller, make sure your response is appropriate to what they're asking or what they stated. Okay. An example that I gave to you, one example is when you ask them, how are you today? And of course, especially if that's part of your opening. So how are you today, Claire? And Claire would say, or your customer would say, I'm not feeling good. I'm under the weather. I cannot really talk too long. Okay. So the appropriate response, of course, to that would be, oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. All right, we'll make this quick. I hope you feel better soon. How can I help you today, Claire? You know, you respond that way. Okay, you don't respond, oh, that's good to hear. they're feeling bad, and you say that's good to hear. Do you think that's an appropriate response? Of course it's not, right? So when you are, make sure that you are hearing as well. You are hearing what they're saying, because you won't be able to respond appropriately if you are not hearing what they're saying correctly, right? Again, because it's already part of your script, that so you're so used to saying that or uttering that you don't really hear what they're saying anymore. Okay, that's our next topic: listening skills. Okay, listening skills. Again, because this is our job. This is going to be our bread and butter. So you need to know how to listen well. Okay, what is the difference between hearing and listening? What is passive and active listening? And why do we have to listen anyway? Right? Why do we have to listen? Okay? Can somebody answer me what is the difference between hearing and listening? Anybody can answer. Who wants to answer this? What is the difference between hearing and listening?
Can I try?
Hello?
Hello? Hello?
Hi.
I will try.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. As I've understand, listening is about understanding the content of the words, and the hearing is just passing by on your ears.
That is correct. Okay. Hearing is just like what you stated there. It's just passing by your ears. You just heard it. Listening is understanding. Okay. So hearing is the special sense by which noises and tone are received as stimuli. Listening includes interpreting or processing sounds received by the ear. You can hear something without choosing to listen. Okay. This is what we do. We just hear. Okay. Sometimes when somebody is talking, when you have a partner and they're talking about, you've been talking, a long time, they're saying something, but you were not able to listen. So sometimes, your partner would ask you, do you understand what I said? And then that's the time where, you will be able to be aware that, you know, because it's automatic for us to just say, yeah, 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 that's okay. Yes, okay, yeah. No, you respond automatically. Uh-huh. You respond automatically. But you're not really listening to what the other person is saying. So this actually happens, or this is a common scenario with partners and even with mom and children. Your mom would constantly talk, and the children, or the mom would constantly talk, and the children is not really listening. Yes, they're hearing it. They would say, yes, mom, but they're not doing it because they just heard it. They did not understand it. Okay. So that's what happens. So active listening. Active listening, okay, an essential skill and the act of mindful hearing and attempting to comprehend the meaning of words spoken by another in a conversation or speech. It may also mean you listen more than you talk, and then and that you also listen with limited barriers, with encouragement, or with sensitivity. Okay, that is active listening. Okay. um uh it, it's stated here what is passive and active listening. Again, active listening is being mindful of what the other person is saying. You're attempting to understand, or you're trying to comprehend what they're saying. Okay, what the meaning of the words spoken by another in a conversation. Okay. Purpose and effects of active listening. Listening, of course, for information, quickly draw out important or relevant information. Listening for comprehension, analyzing and evaluating to provide a resolution to one's concern. Listening for emotion or state of mind, put individuals at ease through empathy and create rapport even in difficult or imbalanced situations.
Excuse me, ma'am. I'm sorry to interrupt.
Yep.
I don't think the slides are updating.
Oh,
Or
I'm
are
sorry for that. Sorry, sorry,
okay.
sorry. Okay. There you go. Okay. So again, purpose and effects of active listening is either listening for information, listening for comprehension, and listening for emotion or state of mind. Okay. So meaning you would like to, what you're doing is you would like to understand what the other person is saying. Okay. There. All right. Four stages of active listening. Okay. Attending and focusing. Okay. Attending and focusing. Pay total attention to what is being said. Hearing what is said behind the words. Knowing where to focus one's listening attention and feeling at ease and doing so. Engaging with the speaker without interrupting their flow. Picking up verbal and nonverbal cues and knowing what to do with them. Increasing the memory of the listener. Chunking and checking. What does this mean? Okay, attending and focusing. Okay, hearing what is said behind the words. Okay, because sometimes, how they stated it is really different from what they want to say. Okay, this is the same as what we did last time, wherein we provided we provided stress on each words, and when you provide stress on each words, um you'd be able to hear what they really mean. Okay, so you have to be careful, you have to pay attention to those two. Okay, because sometimes we don't hear that, and um we just respond to what they're saying, and then at the end you know um they get irritated because you don't understand what they're saying. Okay, because they're actually saying something, this is what they call reading between the lines. It's not really reading between the lines, but hearing. Okay, hearing it. uh that's why you need to make sure as well that you hear those. Especially if you're um doing multiple things. Okay, sometimes the caller is already upset, but because you're not able to hear that, you're already, what you're doing is just focusing on one thing, or what you're doing, that you were not really able to hear the emotion on the words that they're speaking already. Okay, so you also need to know how to do that. Okay, earlier it was stated that no evaluating to provide the resolution to one's concern. Sometimes that happens, that when you are listening, you have to comprehend on what they're saying. Okay, so you need to watch out for those, right? um Next is chunking and checking, meaning in your mind, you're already um it's like segregating what they're saying. So their concern is multiple concern. Okay, in your process, they're already talking about, let's say, the concern is let's say billing. Again, let's go back to that. They're talking about a concern dated, let's say, May 25, but they also stated something about uh, a concern for April. Something like, this already happened in April. I have another one for May, and this is what happened. There's a charge. Okay, there's a charge that I didn't do on May 25th. So you're already segregating what happened. One for April, one for May. So when you respond to them, okay, as understand, okay, you're calling because um, you have a charge. You have a charge that you did not make, and this happened in April, and now again now on May. I would just like to verify with you. Did you call us when this happened in April? Meaning to say you're already paying attention. Okay, you know how to segregate, you know how to chunk and check. So when you're saying checking, you're verifying if what you got or what the information that you got from them is correct. Okay, so that's how you do it. Verifying. So that's by next. Verifying, reflecting back to affirm the speaker and ensure they feel understood. Mirror and summarize the details that you just received from the customer. So mirror doesn't mean that, mirror is different from parroting. Okay, when you say parroting, you're really stating what they said word for word. We don't do that. Okay, and what we do is we just verify, like the example that I gave you earlier. Okay, so it's the same thing. Probing, get more information based on what was initially given by the customer. Okay, so my example, okay, I asked, were you able to call us when you had this concern in April? Okay, you're asking question. Okay, or you may go ahead and ask, may I know what it states on your statement of account if you did not purchase this? Things like that. Okay, to verify. Then responding, provide feedback to the customer. Okay, respond appropriately to the customer. Ability to use empathy or sympathy statements, and of course, rapport. Okay, this is what I've been saying. No, you need to respond appropriately on whatever is the other person is telling or saying. No, because it's this is what happens if you've been, if you are an agent, and you're taking calls for, for 3 to 4 hours already. So the concern, sometimes you already anticipate what the concern is because you've been doing it, every day. So you already know what their concern is. Even if you already know what their concern is, you still let them speak. Again, because you have a different person all the time that you're speaking with or you're talking to. Okay. So don't assume. You know, make them tell their story. Even if you already know what it is. Okay. This shows that you are a good listener. Okay. Again, even if you already know what you're dealing with or what you're going to do next. Okay. It's actually this is actually an additional for you. A plus point for you because you already know what you're going to do next. You're just letting them vent out or letting them tell their concern. Okay. Again, being nice, it's really a key, especially if you want to get a good impression for all of the clients and all of your customers, you know um, giving or giving them a good impression of who you are. It's not just who you are, but also the company that you are working for, okay, or working with, the company that you are working for. And sometimes, of course, if they listen to that call, if your um, leaders would listen to those calls, you know, and you are nice to your callers, no, that's part of it. It's a plus point for you. It's a QA, 100% QA for you. Okay. So that's why you always have to be nice, even if it's already frustrating. Sometimes you get frustrated. um you can actually see some videos on TikTok regarding that, wherein even if they're already frustrated, it doesn't show on their voice, it doesn't show in their, how they speak with the caller. This because they're so used to doing it. You just make sure that you respond appropriately on what they're saying. Again, because sometimes they're already asking question, and in your mind you've already assumed that this is the issue, wherein it's really not the issue, it's something else. That's why you still have to listen actively. Next one, barriers to active listening. No barriers to active listening, of course, external barriers, distractions outside of oneself, meaning noise, multitasking, chatter beside you, or chatter in the aisle near the listener, things like that. Especially now that we're work from home, we won't be able to really, what do you call this? What word am I looking for? Um, you won't be able to avoid, distractions. You won't be able to avoid, noises in the background, especially if you're working at night, you know, the dogs barking, or the roosters, especially in the morning. That happens to me too. I have a meeting, but the rooster of my neighbor, because it's already 3 o'clock, so they're making noise, things like that. Okay, and you cannot do anything about it. However, you just apologize for the background noise, especially if it's not you who's distracted, but also your caller. You just apologize for the background noise, and then just have them, how do you respond to that if the caller is, asking you about it, and they're distracted? You just apologize and just, tell them, how I understand it, this is what you're saying right now, that you're inquiring for your bill, things like that. You respond appropriately. Okay. Internal barriers. Okay, this is also a barrier in active listening. Internal barriers is distractions inside one's mind. Okay, thinking about other things, thinking of one's response, assumptions made, okay, certain attitudes, personality traits. Okay, thinking about other things, especially, maybe you're thinking about, um, because you're working from home, and probably, you're cooking something and a call comes in and you have to answer. You're thinking if you were able to close uh you were able to turn off the stove, things like that. Or sometime you're thinking about, what you're going to do this weekend. Your mind is no longer, with what you're doing. So that happens. Or probably you're thinking about, you had a quarrel with your loved one, you know you broke up with your girlfriend, and you're still taking those calls. Those are internal barriers. No, you broke up with your partner, or you had a fight with your partner, and you're thinking on how you would get back together, things like that. So those are internal barriers, meaning you're emotional. But of course, you don't let this affect you. You need to know how to, close that out. Okay, close out what you're thinking, and make sure that your mind is um, with the person that you're speaking with. Okay, because you won't be able to do your job correctly if you are, if you are listening to, if you have internal, your, internal barriers. You are thinking of something else. Okay. So again, another example is the assumptions made, especially what I said earlier. Well, because you already know what you're doing, you already know what you're going to respond, how you're going to respond, you know what your responses would be. So make sure that you will still listen, because sometimes it's not really what they're trying to say, it's something else. All right. Next one, how do we develop listening skills? Now, how to develop listening skills? You need to prepare yourself to listen and make it a conscious choice. Okay. You need to tell yourself that, okay, you need to listen to this, what they're trying to say. Work on concentration and make it a habit. Okay. You concentrate first on one thing. Yes, it is part that you have to know how to multitask, but that's a skill that you need to practice. Okay. Especially if you're new in the call center industry, you won't be able to you won't be able to type and listen to what they're saying, especially if it's first time. Okay. But it's a practice that you need to make, or you need to do. Okay. Your team leads or your workmates would tell you or would advise you that you have to start trying to practice. Uh, while you're listening, you're already typing what they're saying. Okay, especially those information that are needed to verify an account. Okay, to verify if the person that you're speaking with is authorized to call regarding that account. Okay, so those things. So there. Sorry, there's a question. All right. Um, Listen for keywords. Okay, so listen for keywords on what they're stating, so that you don't have to type everything that they're saying. You can use those words to just put bullet points of what your what the your client's concern is. Okay. So again, take notes. Okay. You take notes by listening, because sometimes what happens is that's why the newbies are having a hard time. It's because what they're doing is that they're literally typing, it's like transcribing what the caller is saying. You do not transcribe, you don't have to transcribe. You just listen to keywords. And then the keywords is what you take note of. Okay. So that's how you do it. Okay, just give me a couple of minutes. I just need to um, instruct something to one of the trainers. Uh, just give me 2 minutes. I'll be on mute. Okay, let's continue. The next one that we have is managing customer perceptions. Okay, managing customer perceptions. What kind of impression would you have on the following statement? So let's see. I'm sorry I didn't call you back. My boss had us in another meeting that lasted all morning. So what do you think about that statement? Anybody can answer. Just the first one. I'm sorry that I didn't call you back. My boss had us in another meeting that lasted all morning.
Um, he or she felt bad that the person didn't call back because of the time wasted by the boss.
Okay, so your perception, if you are the customer, right? So your perception is that if you are the customer, you would feel like your concern is not important, correct?
Yes,
Right?
ma'am.
Yes. Okay. I am the agent and I tell you, I'm sorry I didn't call you back. My boss had us in another meeting that lasted all morning, right? So, the customer's perception, they would feel that, okay, so my concern is not important at all. Well,
Yes,
for me,
the
yeah,
customer
right
thinks that he or she was not prioritized.
there, exactly. Okay, so if you state that, next statement, I hope this will solve your problem. I hope this will solve your problem. What do you think would be the perception of the customer if this was stated to them? Anybody else who would like to answer this?
Excuse me.
Yes.
Uh, I think the customer will feel that you're tired of solving his or her problem, or you're I think you're
Yes.
already fed up, something like that.
Actually, that's right. You know, um if you read it, it's like it's there's nothing wrong, right? But if it's uttered or if it was stated, I hope this will solve your problem. So, see how I stated it.
It's
Okay.
like giving the customer false hope, ma'am.
Also, that's right. It's like giving them false hope too. Okay. It gives the feeling of it's like stop calling us. Stop calling us. And I hope this will solve your problem. Like you don't want to do business with them, right? So that's the feeling. Okay. You don't how the sentence was constructed is actually incorrect, right? You don't say it like that. Okay, your customer would feel bad. Your customer would feel again, they're not important. Why would they do s- why would s- they s- why would they still do business with the company that you're working for if the agent would respond like that? Okay, again, I am always telling you that you represent the company that you're working for, the company that you're working with. You represent them. So you make sure that you don't say, things like this. Okay? You have to be that nice all the time. The last one, let's see. I don't understand why customer service didn't help you. How would you think the customer would feel if they hear that from you? What do you think? Lucas, would you like to answer?
What was that again, ma'am?
If the customer or if the agent would tell you, I don't understand why customer service didn't help you, what do you think would be the customer's perception if you stated this? Or if the agent stated this? You are the customer. What would be your perception if I tell you, I don't understand why customer service didn't help you?
I would
What
think that
yes.
the customer service should know how to help me because they handle the customers and I am a customer.
All right. Okay. Or maybe that you're blaming other departments, right? You're blaming other departments, or not you, but the agent is blaming other departments. But again, I will repeat, you are working for the same company. So don't blame other departments or don't blame other customer service departments that handled the call previously. Okay? You don't say those. Again, because you are representing one company. So you don't blame other departments. Okay? So these are just some samples that please do not use. Okay? Don't use these statements. Okay? Because your customers would have a bad impression of the company that you're working for if this is how you provide customer service. Okay? Again, first, okay, don't blame. Okay? The first statement, it's also blaming. Okay? And you're not giving priority to your clients if you stated this. The second statement, it seems like you don't want to accept any more business from them. Yes, again, don't state this. And the third, of course, yes, going back to the first one, no blaming. Okay, do not blame in a department or somebody on the same company that you're working for, because you are again representing your company. You are the company. That's what they say all the time when you're working working in the call center industry. You are the company. Okay, you are representing the company, so they will not blame. When they blame you, it's not you that they're blaming the company. Okay, that's why you need to assist all clients nicely or your customers courteously. All right. Next slide. Confidence. Okay, let the callers feel you are confident. Capture the attention of the caller through a response that promotes a sense of assurance and confidence that you have the ability to handle the concern. Instead of telling a customer what you can't do, tell them what you can do. Okay, this is always the thing. Okay, you have to be confident. That's why from the very beginning, we started with how you have a natural accent, right? So if you have that accent, if you have that natural accent, if you have a good command in the English language, you would show confidence to your clients or to your customers. Okay. It's also a practice to not say negative words or negative phrases. Okay, a sample of the negative phrase is what was what we have on the previous slide. Okay, I hope this will solve your problem. That's a negative statement. Okay, it's a negative statement, so don't use this. Okay, again, make sure to tell them what you can do. Okay, because again and again, I'm always, I'm redundant here. You are representing the company that you're working for. So that's why it's not you. It's that sometimes what what they say as well is that um, your customers, your clients, who you're speaking with, won't be able to really remember you. But what they will remember is how you treat them in the call. They will be able to remember you and how you treat them in the call. But if you're rude, they would definitely remember you. If you are nice, they would also remember you. And sometimes you also get commendation if you were able to assist them, and you're willing to help. It shows on how you interact with the caller. Okay, you get commendations for that. Sometimes they would email and they would state to your leaders that this person assisted me. He was very patient. He listened to my concern. He provided me the correct resolution. He guided me on what I'm going to do so that this will not happen again. Those are some of the examples of commendations. Okay. Positive scripting. These are samples of positive scripting. Instead of, as much as I would like to help you. Again, this is negative scripting. Use instead, here's what I can do. Okay, or instead of, I can't do that, it's out of my scope. It's like you're putting a period. That's why you have clients calling. This is because they're asking for help. They need you to help them. Okay. So if you state that I can't do that, it's out of my scope, your caller will just be irritated and probably ask for a supervisor. Okay, because you stated this. Okay. Use instead. Here's what I can do. If you don't know the answer yet, you tell them, okay, ma'am, okay, Claire. Here's what I can do. I'm going to research this. I'm going to, you know, uh, check what happened, and then I will give you a call back. Would that be fine? Okay. Expect a call back after an hour or tomorrow. May I know what time? Can I give you a call back? No, that's how you do it. Okay, you give them something, even if you don't know what the resolution is, you'll go ahead and tell them what you can do, or what's what can you do for them, and that they will appreciate this more. If you, even if it's out of your scope, it's something that that you're going to research on. Okay, so that's what you can tell them. um Next one, you have to. Okay, again, it's like you're commanding them. Okay, don't do that. You tell them instead, use please submit or kindly provide us. Okay, again, you have to be courteous. Next, I don't know. Like what I said on the first one, you can say, let me research that for you. Okay. Okay, after the client would ask a question, whatever the question is, you say okay or one moment, please. Don't say that. You can say, I'd be happy to get that information for you. That's more appropriate, or that's the appropriate response. Okay, I'd be happy to get that information for you. Don't just say, okay. Okay, let's say the provider or the caller or the client is telling you about, like, let's go back to the bill. Okay, I would like to know about the charge that I received for May 25th. I didn't make that charge. And then you just respond, okay. Don't say that. Okay, I'd be happy to look into that, or I'd be happy to get that information for you. Okay. Next, Let me give you the external number in case the line gets disconnected. Okay, don't say that. But why? It gives us an, or it gives the caller or your client a negative perception that you're going to disconnect the call. Okay. Let me give you their contact number for future reference. Okay, so don't say in case the line gets disconnected. Okay. Let me give you let me give you the phone number or the contact number for future reference. Okay, so there. Next, instead of I'll try, you say I will. Okay, because when you say I'll try, there's no resolution. It's there may be or may be a resolution or there won't be a resolution. Don't say I'll try. Use I will. All right. So those are positive scripting. I remember before the call I had a call and I thought that the client was happy with me. No, towards the end I said, because the caller said, "Are you sure about the information?" I said, this is my exact line, "I'm pretty sure." And then she asked for a supervisor. She asked for a supervisor. And I asked her, "May I know why you wanted to ask for my supervisor?" And then she didn't say anything. She said that, "I would just like to speak with your supervisor." So I was like, okay, um, probably she's going to give me a commendation because she's asking for my supervisor. So I transferred to my supervisor. Then after the call, this my supervisor logged me out and coached me. And I was thinking, what did I do? Okay. And then he told me that the client asked for a supervisor. It's because um, she thinks that you're not giving her the correct information. And I said, I did. We're actually, our call or our conversation, if you listen to it, our call was really nice. I was, during, it's just towards the end. That's why I actually thought that it was a commendation. And my supervisor was like, no, it's not a commendation, but more of telling me that you're not confident on what you're saying. You know why? This is because of the line, "I'm pretty sure." It gives a negative connotation that I am not sure of what I'm saying. Where in it, in my thoughts, that I'm pretty sure is actually a positive script. No, to them it's not. I should have just answered. My supervisor told me I should have just answered, yes. The information I gave you is um what I have on my system. But because I said I'm pretty sure, I didn't know, because I read that, I sometimes I read that and sometimes I hear that people saying it and I used it. But I don't know, probably because of the stress in the sentence that I provided, or where I placed my tone, or how I provided the sentence. It's a negative, it came out negative in my customers' ears. From that moment on, I did not use that phrase anymore. It's because it might come out differently. That's why we learned about, putting stress and rhythm in our sentence. It's because, of course, we have to practice on how we state those. But sometimes, we heard it in one of the, sitcoms, or probably a series that we watched, that they use this sentence, and we try to use it too, because we thought that it can be used. It can be, right? But again, probably it's how I use it, but I never used it again. I never use that phrase anymore. I make sure that when I answer, I just use professional answers. I say yes. I say, sometimes I don't say anything else. Yes, that is the information. Just to give them, that feeling that I am confident in what I'm saying, that what I provided you is the correct one. Okay, again, no blaming of other departments. Sometimes they would tell you, I called earlier and they provided me a different one. How do you say, how do you get, how do you get your caller to believe you? Okay, again, because this is, it's how you will answer them. Okay, that's why I never use I'm pretty sure again. No, if your caller your caller or your client is telling you, I called earlier, gave me a different one. So what is the correct one? Okay, how are you going to respond to that? Right? How are you going to respond? You can tell them that I assure you that the information that I provided is the correct one. This is what is showing on my system, or this is what I have, and then repeat it. Go ahead and repeat. Go ahead and tell them what you show or what you see. Okay. Again, you have to sound confident. All right. So there. Okay. So we've discussed a lot already. Do you have any questions? Just would like to know if you have any questions before we move on to the next one. So silence means no questions. All right. Let's go ahead and continue. Hey, call handling skills. Call handling skills. There is an opportunity to enhance customer relation skills on every call. So would you take that advantage? Of course. Okay. Again, because there's always an opportunity. We have to move on to, if in case, or if, an example is that um, the the previous call didn't go well, you would have another call. Mm, just make sure that you move past that. Okay. Make sure that you move past the previous call. Okay. Take advantage of the opportunity to make again a good impression to the next to the next call that you have. Okay. That's how you do it. You have to keep that mindset. Okay. Content versus emotion. What does this mean? Content is the information, ideas, and opinions expressed in the conversation. It is the what in what is being said. Emotion is the feeling that lies behind the content. It is the how the communication is actually said. Okay, so it's the emotion. I guess this is what happened to me. Okay, when I provided, I'm pretty sure it didn't sound, didn't sound confident. That's why, my caller or my client, ask for a supervisor, because I don't, it that my how I sounded is not confident with the information that I provided. Emotional hot buttons. Okay. Emil, can you read this for me? The whole slide, please.
Sometimes something a person says trigger an emotional response in us, many times due to a past experience. In order to minimize the response, try some of these techniques. Listen attentively without interrupting. Make a conscious choice about your response. Acknowledge the other person's feelings. Ask objective questions for clarification.
All right. Okay. Listen attentively without interrupting. Okay. This was previously discussed, right? Um, because if you interrupt, okay, if you interrupt, it's like you do not want to listen to them. Okay. That's why it shows emotional hot buttons. If you interrupt with what they're stating or what the your clients are saying, especially if they are emotionally distressed, or they it's really stressful for them already, or what's happening to their account, or what's happening to their billing, or whatever it is that's happening to them, just listen to what they're saying. Let them speak. Okay, don't interrupt, because sometimes if you interrupt, they would tell you, let me finish. Okay, when they state that, they're already irritated because you interrupted them. Especially if, for example, you just wanted to acknowledge what they're saying. Okay, however, for them, it's not acknowledging, you're interrupting. Okay, especially that's why you have to be conscious on how they also are expressing. Okay, how they're expressing their concern. Okay, so make sure that when they're expressing, if you hear a negative emotion in how they're stating their concern, let them finish. You know, don't don't respond in a way that, example of a response would be, okay, what you're saying is that you're interrupting. You would just, your caller would just say, please let me finish. I'm not yet done. Okay, so make sure that if the caller has a tone where they're expressing their concern, where the tone is monotonous, or their tone is a bit, you can hear a hint of anger, stop. Don't interrupt them. Let them finish. When they already have a long pause, that's the time that, you know, go ahead and say something. Especially if they already stated, do you understand what I'm saying? That requires, a response. If they tell you, do you understand what I'm saying? Okay, so you respond, yes, I do understand, and I apologize for the inconvenience. So let me verify your concern again. This is what happened. Again, just summarize it. Okay. So if you do it that way, your customer would feel okay. So he was listening. Okay. So he understands my concern. Right? So there. Okay. Again, make a conscious choice about your response. Acknowledge the other person's feelings. That's why I said, I apologize for the frustration this has caused. Okay. Ask objective questions for clarification. Okay. Again, like what I stated, let me verify. This is what happened. Okay. I apologize for the inconvenience, or apologize. Um, I apologize that you were frustrated. Let me go ahead and look into that and see what we can do. Okay, that's the appropriate response. All right, so there. So again, it's really a conscious effort. Okay, that's why you don't assume. That's why earlier it was discussed. Don't assume, even if you already know what the concern is. Don't assume. Just let them finish. Okay, this is because they're already frustrated. You don't know what people are feeling. Okay, another person might be feeling so down because they are depressed and this happened to them, and for you, it's like that's an easy concern. you know, easy for you, but for them it's a big deal. So make sure that you appropriately respond, because if you don't respond appropriately, you know, it will just open, yeah, it will open a big, I don't know, um, your caller or your client might burst with anger, okay, because you're not listening to them. Okay, it's the same thing on how you talk to. It's like talking to kids when they are when they have tantrums. When they have tantrums, they won't listen to you and just cry over and over again because you don't understand what they're feeling. Okay, so that's why when you respond to them, you respond to them, you ask them why are they feeling, or why are they shouting, why are they, you know, things like that, why do they feel like that. Okay, just give me a second. Okay, so that's how you actually talk to persons or people or clients who have who are in emotional distress. Okay, let's resume. Calls from different types of customers. Okay, the irate caller, the swearing customer, callers with a foreign accent, the confused caller, the talker or the rambler. Okay, there are, you know, it's not just, you know, you agents, there are different types of callers as well. Okay, um, you know, we have to know who are these callers, who are these people that we are speaking with. Okay, what does it mean when you say the irate caller? Okay, the irate caller. Okay, if you are talking to an irate caller, listen to the caller, empathize, sympathize with sincerity, accept responsibility, resolve the issue or concern. Okay, that's why it shows here. Listen to the caller, the very first one. Listen to them. Yes, if the caller are irate, they do not want to be interrupted, because if they are interrupted, okay, they get more they get more agitated, and sometimes they would shout already because they you interrupted what they're saying. Okay, so you have to be careful. Okay, and then of course you empathize, like what I said. I apologize that this happened to you. um I know that this feels, you know, this is frustrating for you. Okay, accept, we apologize, um and then this is what we can do. Okay, this is what we can do. So you just always have to, you know, even if it's not your fault, it's the company's fault, you take responsibility. You just, you know, you just apologize. And again, of course, if you empathize, make sure that you empathize with sincerity, that they can feel what you're saying. No, like what I said. This might be. I know this is frustrating for you. You've already empathized there. I apologize for what happened. So this is what we can do. And of course, when you state this, no, your emotion should show too. Your emotion that you are really willing to help. Don't just say, don't just say, I'm sorry this happened to you. I apologize. Let's see what we can do. Now, if you sound like that, you don't sound willing to help, right? That's why, again, we went through, we discussed on how you respond appropriately and how you're going to respond appropriately, depending on the stress and rhythm of, the tone of your voice when you are responding. Okay, make sure that you have those emotions when you are responding. Okay, the swearing. or the cussing customer. Okay, if the customer is responding or is swearing, okay, using the F word, using the BI word, or just swearing, and you cannot, because they're so mad that when they talk to someone, they already swears. Okay, interject immediately. Assure the caller you can help. Address the offensive language directly. Keep control of the call. Okay, don't let them control the call. Okay, how do you interject immediately? Okay, you call out their name. Okay, especially if they've already provided your name. If they didn't, then go ahead, sir, ma'am. Okay, I am here to help you. Please refrain from um please refrain from swearing, or please refrain from being using offensive language. Okay, if they say that no, I'm they continue. Okay, and then you tell them that uh, I will be forced to release this call. I won't be able to help you if you keep on swearing. Let me go ahead and help you first. Okay, so that's how you do it. You assure them that you can help them. Okay, may I know what your concern is so that I can help you. Okay, see where I placed my stress. Did you hear that from my voice? Okay, when I stated, please stop. Okay, please stop, or please stop swearing. May I know what your concern is? This for me to be able to help you with your concern. I won't be able to help you if you continue to speak offensive language. Okay, so that's how you do it. Keep control of the call. Don't let them control the call. Sometimes they will tell you, okay, this is what happened, blah, 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 blah. They tell you. Okay, so the next thing that you would say is that, all right, so your concern is like this. And then they will shout again, because their patient is already too thin, that whatever you say is already a trigger for them. Please be patient with this type of callers. Okay, if they do not stop swearing, then you go ahead. This is the third time, or this is the second time. If you keep on using offensive language, I will be forced to disconnect this call. Be firm. Okay, be firm. Don't be afraid of them. Okay, don't be afraid. Okay, tell them that you are offended. Okay, I am sorry for what you're do or what happened to you. But how am I going to help you if you keep on swearing? I won't be able to help you if you keep on swearing. I won't be able to understand what you're saying. And if you keep on swearing, I will be forced to disconnect this call. And then, of course, if that happens and okay, and this happens, of course, um, y- you can go ahead and disconnect the call. Tell them, I will now disconnect this call. Okay, that's how you do it. Just give me a couple of minutes. I just have a question here.
Hi, Emil, Patrick.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Hi. Hi. Patrick. Okay, let's start with Patrick first. Patrick. Sorry, you're not yet done, guys.
Not yet. Almost
I am
done.
so sorry. I am so sorry.
That's okay. Actually, you can go ahead and take the 15 minutes, Maros.
Mm-mm.
Because I'm answering a question from other managers. So you can
Sige.
go ahead and take the 15 minutes. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, ate. Sorry. Okay. Um, so for Lucas and Charles, you can leave now. I'd like to speak with Patrick and Emil.
I'll leave the call also.
Uh,
Would the call be disconnected if I leave the call?
just make me the host, ate.
Hold on.
Thank you.
How do I do that? Where do I go?
Click on my name, top
Oh, okay, see it.
top 3. I was
Make
about to say top
host.
3 button.
No, I'll there you go.
Awesome.
Yes.
Thanks. Okay. So for
Okay, I
Patrick and
leave.
Emil,
Thanks.
bye ate. Guys, we have a client who will run a trial, and this will be paid. So I wanted to ask the two of you if you guys would be interested. This is for 10 hours each. One of you guys will be taking the let's see 9 till 12 a no 9 a.m. to 12 noon Central Standard Time, and 4 p.m. till 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. Now, again, this is paid, but I want to check in with you guys if you are interested in um, doing this.
Yes, ma'am. I
Yes,
would be
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
willing.
Okay, so the pay will be $3 an hour, and again, you guys get 10 hours each. So I'll send over the script, and then tomorrow, right after, how about we do this? I'll send you over all of the instruction on how we're going to do the whole campaign. But pretty much the process would be you will be logging in to a Skype account. You'll use Skype to dial, and then um I'll give you the script. If this is for appointment setting for an insurance agent, and it's pretty straightforward. If somebody agrees from the leads that you guys will be calling, you have to warm transfer it to the client. um First things first, I will be sending you over. Patrick, you didn't get the file I sent out.
I wasn't able to check it on spam, but now I got
Did
it,
you
ma'am.
see it?
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
perfect. Yeah, because I sent it via BCC. That's why it went to spam. I'm so sorry. I should have sent it like via regular email. But anyway, so that's one other what do you call this? I think I that's the script that you guys will be using. But give me one quick second. Let me just double check to make sure.
Excuse me, ma'am. This 10 hours a day, is
It's
it?
not 10 hours per day. It's actually 2 hours per day. 10 hours for the whole testing phase.
Oh, okay.
Now, once you guys are done, the client will actually then decide if they want to keep one of you, both of you, or if he doesn't want to keep you guys. So it's more of like he want to test out if it will be effective in our campaign. Check the script. Yeah, the script that I need you guys to record, can you send over that recording today instead? Because this is the actual script that you guys will be using.
Yes, ma'am. I'll be able to send it later.
Okay, perfect. Are you guys confident na? You think you can handle na?
I'm certain, ma'am.
Wow. I